Hi, welcome back to Mind Control.
So I'm not here to tell you don't do this, do that, don't do that, do this. I'm here to change the way you think. And if I can change the way you think, I can't help but change what you do, can I? Let me introduce you to the concept of success. Ben Franklin was a pretty smart guy, and I want to start with a quote by him. If you do tomorrow what you did today, you will get tomorrow what you got today. You want to know what that means? The average American makes between 3 and 5% more each year. That's the deal. And in today's economy, I'm not sure we're going to make the 3 to 4 to 5% next year as employees. So it takes you 20 years to double your income in America as an average person. That's the mediocrity that we're stuck in life. And then you meet people who have the uncanny ability to double their income in a year, to get promoted 5 times in a year. The ones that beat the system, the ones that conquer it. You've all seen them, haven't you? The difference between them and the ones that don't do that is that they wake up in the morning and they think differently. They understand that if I do tomorrow what I did today, I'm going to get tomorrow what I got today. You want a bigger car? How about a nice house in Tahiti? Sure, would you love a nice house in the hills? We all want better things, don't we? We all want more friends, more stuff, more money, more security, more travel, more enjoyment. If you do the same thing tomorrow that you did today, you're stuck. Stuck. And it doesn't change. And it grows a little at a time. And you get a taste of success. But it's never fast enough. It never excites you. And when it does, it's a good month, or a good 2 months, or a good 3 months. But it doesn't provide a trajectory that creates success. So the first thing I want you to think about today is I want you to wake up tomorrow and do something different. And understand if you do the same damn thing, you're stuck. Just because you did it a certain way yesterday, there's no reason to do it that way today. I want it to hit hard. That's not what drives success. You do.
There's no place for patience in business. You know, patience in life means things happen slower than they could. So if you're going to be on this planet for 70 years and things happen slower than they should, at the end of 70 years, you're going to have less, aren't you? Less experiences, less time, less money, less of everything. So let's all hurry up, man, and get more out of life.
If you think your life is complete, then I suggest that you're an ass. Because tomorrow always has a great opportunity in it. Your life is not complete until you close your eyes. So when you say somebody who's in a job they hate would love to be able to do this, my comment is, why the hell are you in a job you hate? Don't you have the courage to leave it? So you're in a job you hate, you're doing nothing to change it, but you'd like better.
Sometimes if they have mouths to feed. Sometimes I get it. But what were the things about you? Listen, we'd have to go over those specific cases, I think, and really get into each person to break them. But what do you think that were the things about you? One of it is you always had your eyes open to tomorrow and new opportunities. What were some of the other things as part of your personality? Because there aren't many people like you, but I've seen and I'm studying more and more people where amazing things are happening at 55 and 60 and putting them on life journeys that they never thought they were going to have. And I'm seeing that you guys have a lot of the similar attributes, but what do you think? What was it about you, John?
Courage. Courage. You know, the first time I went and shot a pilot for bar rescue was really hard. You think it's easy to scream at people on national television, to insult people on national television, to call you a jerk, challenge your marriage, challenge your integrity, challenge your professionalism? That's hard. That's not who I am. I don't wake up and embarrass people in front of their friends, right, in front of their family. Bar rescue is the hardest work I have ever done. The courage that it takes for me to go out there and do these things.
The only final advice I would give you is I've lived a very unconventional life. And it's because I live my dream every day. Dreams are inspiring. Work is not. Find a dream. Dreams make this world go on. It built our whole country. And when we get in a rut as human beings is when we lose touch with our dreams. We lose the ability to fight for those dreams. So don't be an employee of Google. Live your dreams at Google. Find a way to match your dreams with the goals of your company and your own work, because there's nothing worse than when you see somebody who lost touch with their dreams. You wake up in the morning, you're failing. So you blame the president, you blame Congress, you blame Greece, blame the euro. I mean, construction industry, it's the mayor, it's the... And you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you're not failing because it's the other guy's fault or it's the economy's fault. But if you looked in the mirror and said, I'm failing because of me, you wouldn't like it, and you change that. And I believe the common denominator of failure in any business is excuses. As long as you wake up and blame poor sales on the economy or an environment, then you have no motivation to make it better because it's not your fault. But in the worst economic environment 4 or 5 years ago in this country that we've seen in our lifetimes, there were people making a lot of money, weren't there? In the height of that recession, there were people selling advertising, people opening restaurants, people building businesses. Somebody's making money, so the excuse is bull. It's bull. So wake up in the morning and own your failure. Look in the mirror and say, I'm failing because of me. And you won't like it. And then you'll change it. But as long as you don't put it on you, you have no motivation to change it. So in short, if you own your failure, you'll own your success. If you don't own your failure, you'll never dig out. And I find that in any business. Always the common denominator of failure, personally, is excuses. You don't want to be a failure, do you?
Not at all.
You don't want to look in the mirror and experience that. If you can't blame anybody but yourself, you're going to change. You're going to fight it out. That's the deal.
I have a dear friend who works for a large company, and he wants to open a franchise of sandwich stores. So he meets with me. He says, John, I need some advice. Do I leave my long-standing job and benefits and do this? Or do I... So why can't you have your cake and eat it too? Right? Why can't you bring in a partner? Why can't you bring in somebody to do it? There's ways to get there. It doesn't have to be absolute. So if somebody wants to create a second career, create new opportunities in their life, figure out a way to do it without risking what you have, right? And if you want it enough, you'll figure it out. I BS'd my way into jobs that I didn't have the experience to do and pulled it off. But I had to believe in myself to BS my way into it. And I knew I could figure it out too. Right. And that gave me the confidence to show up at the interview and convince that guy to hire me, because I was convinced myself that I could do it. And that comes across. You got to wake up in the morning and drive revenue, which means you got to have the promotions, the ideas, the energy to elevate a business. You got to be a rainmaker in business, or you're never going to get anyone wet. And when they don't get wet, they dry up and go away. And it's that wetness of a rainmaker that filters down and trickles to everybody's success. You have to drive the energy of revenue to be successful. And when you do, you'll have no expense problems. I drive quality as a leader. My systems maintain quality. Now, with regard to new projects, to me, every new project is a ball. And I have to move that ball every day. So I know, for example, that I have 4 balls on my desk. There might be 5 pads. Let's say 5 balls on my desk. They might be 5 different pads, 5 different books, 5 different projects. Every day, I'm going to move those 5 balls. That's the way I live my life. And I can't go to sleep at night if I don't move every one of those 5 balls every day. Sometimes I have 3 balls. Sometimes I have 7 balls. But the amount of balls that I accept and put on my desk, every one of them is going to move forward every day, and I become relentless. So I've learned to live my life based upon the progress I make on a daily basis. And I believe that business is defined by what we do every day, every single day. And business is defined by the days that we have. So if you move those 5 balls every day, you can't help but be successful. You will achieve it, but you'll achieve it on a daily basis.
Thank you so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Please also like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and families. Please watch our other motivational videos. Thank you again.
When I was going through Ranger School, we had to do a lot of spot checks. A spot check is basically We don't have time to get all your gear laid out to make sure you have all your shit.
Just because there's a very large number of ways to interpret the world doesn't mean there's a very large number of productive, meaningful, and sustainable ways to interpret the world.
It's just the representative they're putting out there. It's not who they really are. And it's not something that you need to be aware of because it's not something you can control.
People who you thought will help you won't be there for you. Where's your feeling of being empowered, having the capacity to create now? That's going to happen to you in life. And I say that what's necessary is that you stand courageously, daringly, that you become bold. In spite of this, I'm not giving up on my dream. I want the guy who's struggling. I want the guy that failed and can still get back up again. Your problem is your pain has identified you. Your pain has weakened you. And some of you, as long as it's a perfect day, you operate in excellence.
So a spot check is maybe they'll check out 2 items. Maybe making sure you have your extra batteries, extra ammo, whatever it may be. The whole idea of a spot check is to make sure that you're staying squared away. Because you don't know what kind of item they're going to check on. So how does that apply to your life? This is how it applies. You want to make sure you spot check yourself, make sure you stay dialed in at all times. It's also important to check your spot check your boys, your girls. Make sure that they're staying hard. Call them up in the middle of the night. Give them a call and say, hey, tomorrow at 8 o'clock, make sure they're staying dialed in. We have 2 voices in our mind. I've heard them. I hear them now. And they're real.
The thing that's so interesting about the day is like a page in a book. I had one client who was spending about 45 minutes a night fighting with his young son about when to go to bed. And so, they weren't having a pleasant time of it because it was just a constant battle. And that's common. Like, it's very common for parents of young children to be locked in a battle that occurs day after day. Sometimes it's around eating, sometimes it's toilet training, sometimes it's general behavioral issues, sometimes it's bedtime. It's like, okay, 40 minutes a day. So that's 280 minutes a week. So that's, let's say, 5 hours. It's 20 hours a month. It's 240 hours in a year. That's 6 work weeks. That's a month and a half. You're spending a month and a half of work weeks doing nothing but fighting with your son. Don't fool yourself. No. Anything that's every day is a significant percentage of your life.
There's that one voice. It's okay. It's that calming voice. You want to be hugged and nurtured and all that shit that says it's going to be okay. That wakes you up in the middle of the night. It's not your girlfriend. It's not your boyfriend. You haven't put enough time in. It's that voice you want to run away from. But guess what? Stay hard. Listen to the whisper. So years ago, my mentality is this. If you're scared of something, learn about it.
You're awake, let's say, 16 hours. 5 of those hours are basically maintenance. So you got about 11. And then 7 of those are work. So now you're down to 4. And so if you're spending 15 minutes a day doing something painful and stupid and you do it every day, it's like 10% of your productive life. Because people think backwards. They think, well, I have a vacation coming up and that's really important. It's like, no, it's not. You're only going to do it once. It's not that important. Yeah. How you treat each other at lunchtime, if you eat together every day, that's your life. Fix that. Get it so that the food's good. Get it so that you're happy with the people that are sitting there. Fix that. It's like, poof, 10% of your life is fixed.
The purpose is to align ourselves to really make a change. So you can either be the conversation about making change, or you can be a part of the action to do it. I want to be a part of the action. I don't want to be you or beat you.
As soon as the circumstances change, you quit, you give up. So what makes ET different than everybody else? Every year, I just kept going. And I kept going and I kept going. I kept saying, one day gonna be my day. You know what I'm not gonna do? I'm not gonna quit in the process. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna give in. Don't let life change your name. Don't let it change your name. Don't you be nasty just cause they're nasty. Don't you be hateful just cause they're hateful.
The more you can begin to delineate in life between things I can control and I cannot control will be to the extent that you're more productive and you're happier. You can control your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own identity, and your own patterns, not other people's. So speaking of these payoffs we talked about earlier, how can you begin to get the payoff you want from the new empowering pattern? And so a couple questions I want you to ask yourself today, because we do want more bliss. Since that's my word, I'm assuming you want more bliss after you've heard all the synonyms, and I know you want the antithesis to misery. So assuming you want more bliss in your life, decide to have it and take some actions towards getting it. So let me ask you a question. What are you doing currently to create more bliss in your life? What are the actions you're taking to give yourself more bliss? You are intentionally seeking more bliss.
Don't you be vengeful just because they're vengeful. Don't lose yourself in your situation. Don't let your situation eat up yourself. Learn to be your own booster. When I started trying to convince myself I can be a businessman, after flopping and failing and losing thousands of dollars, and feeling stupid and dumb and having people take advantage of me, because of what I didn't know, I had to talk to myself, because people were saying to me that I was dumb, and somewhere in the back of my mind, I was saying, you're right, look at what I've done. I had to say no, 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 no less. Hey, come on, man. Get yourself together.
Because bliss is going to lead to more wealth, more abundance, more fitness, more faith, better relationships, more happiness, more peace, more wins, more success, more recognition, more significance. So what are you consciously doing now that you've chosen bliss? What is the consistent action you're taking to create more in your life? What are you doing to give yourself bliss? Is it acknowledging victories you have? Is it giving gifts to other people of your belief and your hope? Is it lifting other people up? Is it taking a bath, getting a massage, taking a walk, going for a workout, winning, achieving, knocking goals off your list? What are the things you're doing to create bliss in your own life, number one? Number two question I have for you. What are you doing to intentionally create bliss in the lives of the people that you care about? Because this is the pathway to getting more of it ourselves. The more we begin to give other people bliss, the more we begin to consciously make choices that give bliss to other people in their lives.
Where you figured out why you wanted it, you started assigning meaning and purpose. I'm doing this to save my mom and my sister, whatever the case may be. But you're assigning something to it that is deeply personal, that really makes sense with that thing. And now when an unforeseen obstacle comes your way, you know why you're fighting for this. And you will push through that boredom because it's something that you know on balance you love anyway, and you're fighting for something that matters to you. When you get that magical cocktail, as Friedrich Nietzsche said, a man with a strong enough why can endure any how. So you need that strong why to keep you focused, to ignore all the other obstacles and opportunities, to really go after that thing and to have tested. You've tried a lot of things. You did not prematurely optimize. So I know that this one is good for me. I know that I'm not, because a lot of people, they end up they like the beginning. And so in the beginning,
to get that understanding, to understand that right now is the time for you to be better than you was yesterday and not hold on to the things that you cannot control. So if you are living today, then do something good, keep that faith, keep hoping, and stop turning your back on the best things in your life, because there are some good things that are happening right now for you. You're breathing, you're alive, you're doing things right now, you're walking the walk right now. This is not the time to quit. This is not the time to give up. This is not the time to stop. How many times have you said, I know I need to do better, but you don't? How many times have you got on a scale and weighed yourself, but you wasn't happy? How many times have you pulled up those pans and it just didn't fit right? How many times have you said you could not stop eating a certain type of food, but you kept doing it anyway? You see, my friends, that's an excuse. You're looking for a way out.
I know why I'm here. I'm ready to fight. This is good. And then as time wears on, laziness kicks in. They like distraction. Maybe they have ADHD. They want the next dopamine hit. They pick up their phone and suddenly they think it's, oh, well, this Tom said to only do the one that gives me more energy. This doesn't give me enough energy. I'm going to go try something else. I would say once you've done the early exploration, of 15, 20 different things and found some that give you more energy than they take, then if more than 3 times you find yourself starting only to stop and want to start over again, that is you're lacking grit. Angela Duckworth has a book called Grit where she addresses this, but basically you have to at some point draw a line in the sand and say, look, I know that in the early phases of this, I loved it. Now I just need to push through the boring stuff by knowing why I'm doing this and having a desire to progress in my life, which is incredibly important. And I'm going to do that by gaining mastery in the skills that I would need.
How hungry are you? How deep is your determination? How driven are you? These are the questions that you must ask yourself. But do you have the answers to it?
It goes into a trance with good habits, good rituals, great follow-up. let me get my shit and go too.
I don't know what it is for you, but you got to own it. Own IT. Through all the ups, all the downs, remember that you are not perfect, so get over yourself. One thing I know is that you are perfectly imperfect, just like me. What do you do to better yourself? Are you owning it? Are you taking responsibility? Or are you blaming somebody else for the wrongs against you? It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility to fix it. It's your life. Nobody else can do it for you. So get up and go do those things that you don't want to do when you don't want to do them anymore.
Do you understand what it takes to be hungry? Now, if you're the type of person that's waiting for someone to serve you up a plate of success, then you're going to be waiting a long time. Because no one is waiting for you to make up your mind. Being hungry and staying driven is what it's going to take you to the next level, to elevate you in areas that you've never been. Being hungry and driven is important. It's more important than sleep. It's more important than excuses. There are going to be a lot of people that are going to question you. They're going to ask you why. But it's not up to them to make the decisions for you.
And I kept saying to myself, why is that the way that it is? And I guess I was okay for Wesley and Margaret Ann and Leonard and Angelo and Sharon and Linda, but it wasn't okay for me. I was curious. I wanted to live like Mr. Sidursky lived. I wanted the big car that he had. I wanted that big home that he had. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. It was 7 of us, plus Mama. He had a big mansion, just 3 of them, 10,000 square feet. I said, Mama, what is it, Leslie? One day, I want to buy you something just like this. My brothers and sisters, when we were on the bus going back, they were just engaged in playful things. I was thinking and dreaming. Mama didn't understand why I was thinking like that, because I'd been exposed to positive messages. I had to take care of Mr. Sidursky. I had to shine his shoes and clean his office. And every day when he was listening to motivational messages, I was hearing those things too. Earl Nightingale, we become what we think about.
Your success depends on you. How hungry are you? How driven are you? Do you go a full day without a meal? Are you the type of person that likes only to eat once a day? Now, how do you survive off of 1 meal a day? Well, you may be thinking, well, people do it all the time. But we're not talking about food nourishment. We're talking about what's inside, what really you're looking for, what exactly that you want out of your life. A different type of hunger. A hunger for success. A hunger to follow your dreams. And to get exactly it is what you're seeking in life. Standing out here in this desert, there are many different animals, creatures that roam throughout this desert. And things out here get eaten or they eat.
So get up and get set. Set yourself apart from being average, because you are not average. You are great. It's greatness, that's what it is. It's time for you to get the break that you deserve today and fight this good fight, because you're going to be a fighter every single day for the rest of your life. It's your life. It's your life, so guess what, guys? If you do the hard things in life, life gets easy. But if you do the easy things in life, life is going to be hard. The choice is yours.
All of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. In order to be successful, you must be willing to do the things today others won't do, in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. Your mind is a machine. You must program yourself for success. Wow. When I heard those words, I said, wait a minute. I could program my mind for success. I can program my mind for wealth. You can too. Trust me. I've earned over $55 million in the last 28 years. Anybody told me that I would be doing what I'm doing right now? I spoke recently in Sweden. They paid me 40,000 euro for an hour's speech. I had no idea that this Les Brown that you now see had the ability to do that. I used to work for the Miami Sanitation Department as a garbage collector. I used to be a janitor. I used to do door-to-door sales. I used to work for Sears.
good habits, good rituals, great follow-up. I look at those goals every single morning, and I went into a trance. If you want to be a pro, a real pro, you better get some habits and rituals, and you better do them all day, every day. Habits and rituals will make you a pro. We played the #1 team in the country. They had the #1 player in the country, and we beat them. And I outplayed the #1 player in the country. I got to school the next day. The school was going crazy. Great game, Walt, man. You was on fire. You put us on your back. Thank you. Thank you. I'm fighting through the crowd trying to go to the counselor's office. That game was over. It happened yesterday. But I'm in school now, and I'm not a ball player right now. I'm a student, and I was trying to get to the counselor's office, and here's why. I had a 2.9.
The most important step we'll ever take in life is our next one. But a lot of us get our feet stuck in concrete. We get our feet stuck in concrete because we're afraid to make enemies. We're afraid to speak what's on our mind. We're afraid of being in that group of people. And when you walk away, we're afraid what they might say behind your back. All that fear clouds your brain, clouds your thinking. One thing in life, you're gonna always have haters. Embrace them. Trust me, your haters will say.
Sometimes you got to take a break from just about everything, disappear, come back, and shock the world. I'm talking to that athlete. I'm talking to that administrator. I'm talking to that nurse, that doctor. I'm talking to that student. I'm talking to that communicator. I'm talking to that pioneer, the inventor. I'm talking to that entrepreneur. I'm talking to that preacher. I'm talking to that person who refuses to stay.
And even though we beat the #1 team in the country, I outplayed the #1 player in the country, and all I cared about was getting to my coach's office. I got into the counselor's office, and she says, great game yesterday. Thank you. But can I ask you a question? I got a 2.9. What do I need to do to get a 3.0? She says, Walter, I was afraid you were going to ask me that. I mean, you're doing great now, but you were in such a hole. The 2.9 is the best that you can do. For the first time in my life, I was pissed off about school. For the first time in my life, I was pissed off about education.
Where they are, I'm talking to that person that doesn't have a problem laying in obscurity, because you know that when you come out of the dark room, all eyes on you. We live in a culture of business, distraction and noise. And sometimes the only way something is going is if we disappear. Sometimes you got to delete the app. Sometimes you have to walk away.
Learn one thing. Embrace the fact that people don't like you. It means you're doing something right. With success in life comes more haters. Don't make them hurt your feelings. Use them for fuel. Use them for energy. In times of need, and when you don't want to do shit, roll through your brain that person who said you couldn't do something. Weren't fast enough, good enough, smart enough. Use it for energy. Instead of killing them with kindness, we have to continue pushing past the odds. Use everything this world has to give you for fuel.
There's so much stuff you don't know in this world. It's like amazing. I was talking to somebody. I was at this meeting, right? I was a speaker at the SALT convention. There was a convention every year in Vegas called SALT.
You are a royal priesthood. Get where you belong. Do what you're supposed to do. Live like you're supposed to live.
Don't be naive in saying, well, this doesn't matter. I'm telling you, everything matters. There are some things that matter more than others, but there isn't anything that doesn't matter.
Most people are totally okay with decent, but I ain't talking about most people. I'm talking about you want to be a great one. You want to be great. Let me break it down to you. Listen to me. Are you only okay with excellence? Until excellence is the only option, we got something to work on. Until excellence is the only thing you'll settle for, we got work to do, my friend. Before you can be excellent, you must first see what excellence looks like. I want you to make a conscious decision that from this day forward, excellence will be the description of everything you do, like high performance and high achievement. It's just who you have become. You may feel that because you're feeling so much, you're so good, and you're so excellent at feeling, but you're not realizing that you're growing from your failures.
And it's a gathering of billionaires from around the world. They gather and they make decisions on what they're gonna do. And I was a keynote speaker, and I told the guy when he asked me, I said, sir, I'm not a billionaire. Why are you having me speak? He said, we know exactly who you are. He said, but we're intrigued with your story, how you come from nothing to get to where you are. So why don't you just come share your story? So I'm out here and I'm talking to these billionaires. And it's amazing because, you know, the average billionaire in this world is a billionaire because they come from money. Most people that become billionaires don't come from the dirt. They inherit 200 million and they turn it into $1 billion. So they don't know what you know. They don't know shit about no hard days and no rough ass nights. And so
the problem with many of you is that you got full, you got complacent, you got lazy. Somewhere along the line, you lost your enthusiasm, your optimism. You lost your hunger.
High school teacher who one day changed my life. I was waiting on another student, and when he came in, he said to me, young man, go to the board and write what I'm about to tell you. And I said, I can't do that, sir. He said, why not? I said, I'm not one of your students. He said, it doesn't matter. Follow my directions now. I said, I can't do that, sir. He said, why not? I said, because I'm educable mentally retarded. And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me. He said, don't ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality.
I was talking to them and they were fascinated. And after the thing was over, the billionaires were talking. There was a couple of young guys there. And this guy graduated from college and he said, yeah, I'm here to bring you all my talent to you all's attention. And he started talking. He says, yeah, I have a degree in this, that, and the other, and I have another degree, and I have 3 degrees, and that's what I do. And, you know, a couple of billionaires was there, was like real hustlers. And they said, well, so you have all these degrees, so what do you offer? Well, if I need to, I'll go back to school and get another degree. He said, if you have 3 degrees and they're not working, why would you go get another one of them? And I just looked at him and I went, wow. Because when you talk to them dudes that make that other kind of money, they're not interested in your degree. They don't need a degree. If they need a degree, they'll hire somebody with one. But if you're really interested in being successful, it's not your education that's gonna make you successful.
And as he talked, my heart began to beat fast. Tears began to run by my eyes, and I was in the back just listening to him because the speech he was giving, that speech was for me. And he said, Les Brown, he said, if you want to do anything worthwhile in life, you've got to be hungry.
And what we said to each other is, I can get through this. I will get through this. I must get through this. So I just need you to think about 3 people in your family that you love. 3 people. 3 people that you love. 3 people. You got them? They there? You got them? This is what I need you to do for me. Because some of you have a hard time staying motivated for a straight 100 days. So what I need you to do for me is I need you to think about those people every day when you're doing what you're doing. Do you have some days where you just want to hit the snooze button? Raise your hand for me. You want to hit the snooze button, right? So watch this. This is what has to happen. That person that you think about has to be louder than the snooze button. So when you think about Granny, you got to think about, do I hit the snooze button or do I get up and make it happen for Granny? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Who are you doing this for?
You're becoming more powerful. You are educating yourself. You are realizing that your excellence is being nourished. It's going to get stronger. You are planning to see. I'm letting you know right now that you are a possible individual. You are a possible being. You are a possible reality. And this is the time for you to recognize that. Don't stop now. Don't give up on now. Find the way that you are recognizing within yourself and build on it. Just like clay, you must shape it. You must mold it. And you must make it a masterpiece. How many times have you said you couldn't do it?
Okay. We all pity the man who says, well, this is the only place I let down. Not true. Key to take home. Every letdown affects the rest of your performance. Every letdown affects the rest. This is part of the educational process on personal development. If you don't take the walk around the block, you probably won't do the apple a day. If you don't do the apple a day, you probably won't start building your library. If you don't build your library, you probably won't keep a journal, and you won't take pictures, and then you won't do this, you won't do wise things with your money, won't do wise things with your time, won't do wise things with your possibilities and relationships, and the first thing you know, 6 years of that accumulated, and we say you have messed up.
If you put as much time into working on winning as you put into thinking about losing, you'd already be a champion. When we gonna get tired of just knowing and seeing successful people and become one of them? Time is out to sit up here and just make these average decisions, make these irrelevant decisions that don't change you, don't change your family, don't change society, don't change your environment, don't change the world. It's time to make decisions that make you a legend. We see it every day. But the only difference, baby, you gonna make a choice to just be remembered, or you gonna make a choice to become a legend? You gotta stop quitting. We gotta stop giving up. All this TGIF, TGIF. It is now TGIA. Thank God I'm alive. When we open our eyes and we're in our right mind, we live as though we really appreciate that opportunity.
How many times did you say that you didn't have the strength? How many times? How many more times? When is enough going to be enough? When are you going to rise up and realize your true potential? When are you going to commit to your real truth? Because your words matter. Keep it moving, be productive, be powerful, and from the bottom of my heart, conduct. Your business, this is it, your journey, can be seen millions and millions of miles away in everything that you think. Therefore, you shall be greater than your fears.
So the whole key to reversing that process now is to start picking up these disciplines. Now here's the positive side. Every new discipline affects the rest of your disciplines. Every new one affects the rest. Why action is so important. The least action, the smallest action. Take it. When you start accomplishing and the value starts to return from that one action, it'll inspire you to do the next one and the next one and the next one. You start walking around the block, it'll inspire you to get an apple. Get an apple, it'll inspire you to get a book. Get a book, it'll inspire you to get a journal. Get a journal, it'll inspire you to grow, develop some skills. All disciplines affect each other. Every lack affects the rest. Every new affects the rest. The key is to diminish the lack and set up the new. And you've started a whole new life process. Key. Also, one more thought on discipline. Here's the greatest value of discipline. Self-worth. Self-esteem.
And every time I see a post, every time I see a tweet, or just anything, I want to ask the person, why are you thanking God it's Friday? Hello? Newsflash. Tomorrow is Saturday. The day after that is Sunday. The day after that is Monday. What are you thanking God it's Friday for? Because you're preparing to quit. You're prepared to stop what you're doing. You're prepared to clock out. You're prepared to go home. And you in the mental mindset for do nothing. I dare you to get prepared for the challenges of your life by getting rid of comfort. I dare you. I dare you when you find that job that if you don't have a right to work that you want, and then when you get there, you take the stairs. I dare you not to take a break, baby. I dare you to work through your lunch. I dare you when it's hot that you work fast, when it's cold you work longer. I dare you to learn something new today that you didn't know yesterday. I dare you to.
Be stronger than your doubts because your mind is very powerful music. Stop being sorry and start doing better. Better within you, better than anyone has ever seen. Better than your mistakes, better than your failures, better than those that doubted you. Lift yourself up, stop with the excuses, stop doing things that you know that is not right, doing all the things that will make you better. Depends on how you think, how you feel, what you do. How you perceive, there are going to be times that you're going to want to give up, but you don't have the permission to do so. You must carry on the good fight.
What this emotion is telling you is you need to change your perception, because otherwise you're going to feel pain for no reason. You might also look at this same situation as a symbol that you need to change your procedure.
But for some of you, that contract messed you up. You soft now. You ain't as hungry as you was when you was in high school. You ain't as hungry as you was when you was in college.
But what's going to make the major difference? Each person's personal philosophy that sets a better sail, sets a better sail. So don't ask for a more favorable wind. That's like wishing something that's not going to occur.
Anybody can give up, anybody can let it overwhelm you, but you know what that's doing, wasting your pain. That pain is not there to stop you, it's there to prepare you, to increase you, to develop you. Difficulties are a part of life. Now quit telling yourself you can't take. If you're not weak, you are well able. Eventually the pain will pass, you'll give birth to new strength, just because it hasn't happened yet. doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. There will always be forces trying to convince us to settle where we are. Life has a way of pushing our dreams down.
Procedure means the way you're proceeding with this information. In other words, what this may be is a signal to you that you really aren't communicating your real needs to your husband or to your wife. Maybe what you need to do is change your procedure, and instead of feeling hurt or instead of feeling uncomfortable, turn to your husband or wife and say, honey, you know, I know you're wrapped up in your work. I know you're totally immersed. I know you're trying to do stuff that supports the whole family here. But you know what? I just need, 3 minutes with just you and I, because I really need right now to just feel loved by you. I need to hold you. I need to feel connected to you. Now, if that person starts to get upset, obviously you're getting feedback that your procedure still didn't work. You have to be a little more flexible, a little more creative, or maybe a little bit more loving in the way you do it. Or maybe change the timing in which you go about something. But that's changing procedure, changing the way you communicate. Or another way of changing procedure might be it's a signal that says that the way you're communicating your husband or wife doesn't make them want to make you feel loved right now.
You ain't as hungry as you were your first year. You ain't as hungry as you were your second year. And it can tell it, like, we can see it in your game. You're a grown man. Like, I used to watch the game and go like, okay, what's the difference between this team and this team? And it's just like the players. I'm like, no, it's got to be bigger than that. Like, they're all grown, they're all big, they're all tight, they shoot the same way. And I started realizing some dudes come with that beast and other dudes just show up. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. This is going to be hard because some of you young and you like still worried about what people think about you, so you don't want to be honest in front of people. I'm going to ask you a serious question. If 120% is like, yo, bump coach, I work harder than coach want me to work. And then 100% is I do everything coach tell me to do. I want you to think about what level you on. Are you giving 90, 80, 70? Let's see what I'm saying for a minute. And most of y'all know me. You know me from where? Like, where would you know me from?
That your present behavior may be turning them off. For example, let's say you feel rejected by them because when you come in the door, they don't rush up and give you a hug. They're immersed in something. Now, how do you respond to that? Well, what a lot of people do when they feel rejected is they feel uncomfortable with it, or they feel hurt, or some people get angry when they feel rejected. Now, what's the message of anger? The message of anger is you have a standard for your life, something that's important to you, and it's not being met by another person, or maybe even not being met by you. Sometimes we get angry because we're not living our own standards, huh? So let's say as a result, one of your standards is that people who love you, they run up and they greet you in your home. They don't do that today. You feel angry. One of your standards has been violated. Something you believe important is not happening, and now you're angry about it. How do you respond now to your spouse who doesn't even know what's going on? Maybe you give them a dirty look, or maybe you make some snide remark, or you find something wrong with what they're doing. As a result, this person may very well purposely reject you. Now when you're feeling this rejection, or you're feeling this hurt or this anger, and you say, okay.
Social media. Where would you know me from? Say it again. Social media. Yep, I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying. Watch this. I get 120. So I just got up 12 years ago, just started getting online. It was a recession at the time. And I saw what was going on in America. I'm from Detroit, GM, Chrysler, Ford went down. People started going to the casinos, shooting themselves, killing themselves. I was like, I got a gift. I'm just going to get online and kill it. Every Monday I would get up. Thank God it's Monday. Kill it. Nike never sponsored me. Adidas never sponsored me. Under Armour never sponsored me. I get up every Monday and get a world something. Then it got crazy. I started meeting people and people be like, yo, E.T., what up? Thank God it's money. I'm like, ooh, they feeling this. So then I started doing it every day. And then I started realizing cats is really feeling this. And I started doing it 3 times a day. You wake up and get 3 videos from me. You won't pay a dime for it. That's 120. Ain't nobody paying me, but I'm giving it out. Year after year after year. Boom, commercials. Year after year. Meek like E, I want to put you on my album.
They can become buried under discouragement, buried under past mistakes. There are dreams buried under divorce, buried under low self-esteem. It's easy to settle for mediocrity even though we have all this potential buried on the inside. What are you remembering? The hurt, the pain, what didn't work out? Turn it around and remember your dream. Have you allowed any dreams to get buried in you? At one time you believed you could do something great. You believed you could lead the company. In sales you believed you could break that addiction.
Don't ask for better seed and soil. All you got's what's available. Don't curse what you got. The key is to set a better sail and turn what you've got into the miracle of your future. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. That's the reason for coming here, spending a couple of days of intense effort, taking notes, rolling up your sleeves, going to work, commit yourself to learning so that you can get smarter for the days ahead. Now, here's number 3. You've got to get going. All of the things that you've learned will not do you that much good if you don't put it into an action plan. You've got to get going.
I don't care if it's babysitting. I don't care if it's doing color. I don't care if it's painting. Whatever it is, it's what you do. Sing it. Whatever you do the best, write it down. That's your gift. That's it. You ain't got to go asking a bunch of people. They've been telling you your whole life. You know, you ever had people call you with their problems? They always call you with your problems because you gifted at it. But you didn't know how to identify it. If you identify your gift. Now, let me ask you this question. This thing that you're gifted at, if you did it for somebody, do you think somebody would pay you $10 for your gift? Just $10. Could you babysit for $10? Could you cut somebody's hair for $10? Could you cut their grass for $10? Could you make them a chicken dinner for $10? Could you do something for $10? Everybody. Don't you have something somebody would give you $10 for? Okay, now.
It's been a long time. Had some bad breaks, wasn't all your fault. You could easily settle where you are, nobody would fault you. The enemy would love to deceive you into burying your dream, thinking that it's never going to work. Don't believe those lies. It's not too late to become all that you were created to be. Every time you remember your dream, you're removing some dirt you're digging. Back out the true mark of a champion is even though some dirt gets thrown on your dream, instead of letting it get buried, you keep shaking it off, you keep moving forward.
In my management and leadership seminar, we teach game plans, how to put all the good things that you've learned into action. Economic action, social action, personal action. How to make the changes and how to actually do the work, how to actually function. Get going, that's the key. Some people are ever learning, but they don't put it into action. They don't really take the action. It's like the man who keeps bringing materials to the building site and never builds anything. He keeps bringing in the sand and the gravel and the windows and the doors and the roofing material, and he just stacks up all these supplies, but he never builds anything. See, if you do that long enough, fairly soon they'll come and take you away. You've got to do something with what you've learned. You've got to take action. You've got to get going. So that's one of the most important things to learn, how to design your days, how to design your weeks, how to design the months, so that you take the proper action to get the proper return that you're looking for, whether it's economic or personal.
Once you have something that somebody's willing to pay you $10 for, this is how this works. It's called the multiples of 10. See, you don't have to figure out how to be a millionaire. You just got to figure out the thing that makes you $10. So now here we go. You do it and you make $10. Soon as they pay you the 10, go do it 10 more times. Whatever it was. Watch some more kids, 10 more times. Get another 10, you got $100. When you get $100, whatever you did to make that $100, listen to me, do it 10 more times. You ain't got to get tricky with it, just do it 10 more times. You'd have made $1,000. Whatever you did to make the $1,000, don't get smart, stay stupid now. Do it 10 more times. You have now made $10,000. Hold up. Now we finna grow a little bit, but guess what you gotta do to grow? You just gotta do some more.
You wouldn't be having that opposition if you didn't have something great in you. If your dream wasn't alive and on track, right on schedule to come to pass, you wouldn't have so many things coming against you. That dream is still alive. You may have tried a year ago, 5 years ago, or 40 years ago. Didn't work out. Nobody was there to help you go back and try again. This is your time. This is your moment. Your destiny is calling out to you. Can I tell you, your dream is not dead. It's just not in season.